Hey man, MMA 2020, man. What did you think about MMA this past year, man? Because we had some difficult things to deal with, especially with the whole COVID situation, the whole pandemic situation. So the UFC in 2020 wasn't as good as it could have been, but I feel like Dana threw on some fights that, well, in normal sports we wouldn't even ever see
Yeah.
because it was like top tier opponents. But would it give you an overall view of 2020 in the UFC? And we could talk about some different things too. Let's get into just your overall view of 2020 and what was the best thing out of the UFC for you in 2020.
So start the clock. 5 minutes. I think I want to say the UFC had a successful 2020. You
Hmm.
know, I along with a lot of things that they did. Dana White gonna Dana White. He's always gonna Dana White. We're gonna get this island, and we're gonna buy this island, and we're gonna have all this. But in reality, it's Dubai, and we've already had fight cards there before, like not even like a year or something away. And you know that's cool. There always gonna be something like that, but you still got the Fight Island. Like John said, we love Fight Island. I like the idea of Fight Island. It was really good. I think Fight Island uh, really messed up a lot of fights, though. I feel like not only do you have to go out there and perform on a world championship level, but you have to do it in another country, eating different types of food that come from different places, and
Hmm.
also, no, no fans, nothing to get you hyped up, and then also the idea behind it is like, all right, so you got two options. If you want everybody to see it back home, you got to fight at 6 a.m. in the morning, or if you want to fight at a normal time like you used to, well, then ain't nobody gonna watch it. So we get things like Khabib versus Dustin Poirier at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I ain't mad at it. I'm a shit eating wild man for it. But other than that, I'd say it was pretty successful. Successful 2020. I mean, what in 2020 we got Connor,
Yeah.
we got John Jones, didn't we?
Unless it was early, I don't know if we got John
It was
Jones.
real early. We got the Korean Zombie back. Kobe Covington fought Tyron. No, that was the year before.
Yeah, there's a lot of big fights that happened at the end of the year to 2019
Yeah.
that I think you're talking about. But in 2020, we did get women's title fight, both. Actually, three, didn't we? Didn't we get three women's title
I believe
fights?
so. I wish there was a way to
And
pull up the 2020.
we also got the not McGregor,
We got McGregor
the
versus
Gaethje. We got the Gaethje versus Khabib fight
which I'm not,
or Habib. We got the Gaethje versus Habib fight
which
because I get called out for saying Khabib,
do
so
you
it's Habib.
do you
Gaethje versus Habib
hobby.
fight.
Now, with
Habib.
that being said, you get that aspect, and we got to see different people shine in different situations too. So, Gaethje spoke about this. Not having a crowd actually helped him a lot more than having a crowd, and I believe not having a crowd really hurt your boy Tony Ferguson. So,
Yeah, because he ain't nobody to hype his ass up.
if this was a regular year, do those fights go the same way? Everything really
I don't know.
changed.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That Gaethje fight might have went a little different too if the crowd was behind him too, because he might get that extra adrenaline rush. But I think John brought up a good comment in the comment section. Um, that the fights became a little bit more interesting for not only somebody like yourself who's enjoying watching the fight, because if no crowds, you can also hear what was going on live in action, which give you a good idea about what the whole thought process is in the whole fight and how they approached it,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool too. So 2020 brought us that aspect of it as well. So when the fans come back in, you won't even get that opportunity to hear those things that are happening in the ring at that time. So that was something that was really cool, especially about the 2020 and the whole pandemic situation. But look, man, I want to get into some things before our 5 minutes is up, man. fight of the year, man. What do you have as fight of the year,
I,
in your opinion?
in my opinion, I would have to go with the Joanna and Jacek fight when she fought Wiley Zhang, when she had that big old hematoma on her head.
Boy, her face looked 2 times bigger than what it
Ooh,
was,
that
boy.
was a
God
big
dog.
one. I don't know.
Boy, they were throwing that thunder in them fights,
I
man.
don't. I feel like that fight, barring the last, like the Moreno fight, but that's recency bias. I don't know any other fight this year that had me at the edge of my seat. Like, wow, this is it right here. That also had the same the stakes. Also, there's great fights on the prelim card, and they're fighting for their chance to stay in the UFC and not get cut. Yeah, that's cool. Then there's great fights with a UFC title on the line, and they're all doing their very best to achieve the greatest achievement out there. And with that being said, it's hard to pick that also, because if you go back and look at that fight, it's a fight of the year candidate, but they fought. You know, a lot of times you
Yeah.
get things that are fight of the year because two guys go, "Hey man, you gonna use any technique? Nah. How about you? Nah, I don't plan on it." And they just rock 'em, sock 'em, and we be like, "Man, this is the best fight ever." They just out there slugging it, So you got to judge that too. We looked at a fight like, wow, kind of a la Robbie Lawler. Uh, what's his name? He had a split lip during that Roy McDonald fight. Like they fought. I don't need to see you put your hand, hey, right here, and they just stand in the middle and punch each other till somebody fall. Who cares?
Well, I mean, in your perspective, I can see why you would say that because you do fight for a living. Well,
At this
for
point, I fight for
alternate
a living.
living.
At this point, I fight for a living. That's my
Well,
only
you do
source of
fight for a
income.
living, so it's a little different for you because you know the technique and know some of the things that you should do in a fight. But for me, I like the slanging and banging. I like the uppercuts. I like the hit somebody behind the washing machine.
Yeah.
I like to see him stand and bang personally. So that's just coming from my perspective. So I can understand from your perspective. But I want to get one more question before we get to the UFC fights of 2021. Hey man, what is your in your opinion, what is your knockout of the year, man?
Shit, I don't know. I mean, we're all gonna say it. It seems like there's a consensus these days of 2020 because one of them stood out, and it's hard to make a an argument for the other ones. When when he hit Ipa with that spinning back kick, when he caught that spinning back kick,
Yeah, man, that was pretty cool.
man.
That was pretty cool. That was
So,
pretty cool. But
but the thing of
that for me though, that's not like technique though. He
well,
got lucky per
he
se.
didn't necessarily. No, he didn't get lucky.
I'm just saying, for my man to catch the foot, and then all of a sudden for you to think about doing that is pretty cool. But I feel like my man's punch, what's his name, Sugar Sean O'Malley, when he knocked my man out with the he had a
I know you're
mustache.
talking about
Yeah, I feel like that was
Ian
more
Ian
technique.
Heinrich.
Yeah,
I think.
I feel like that was more technique than that spinning back kick, man, personally. And I feel like for me that was the knockout of the year because it's just like he set him up. He already had a better hand speed. He was already connecting on some punches beforehand, and that punch just came out of nowhere at the end of the round, and he knocked him out, put him on his ass to the point where it was like a walk away. That spinning back kick, I understand that everybody sees it and they're like, "Oh my goodness, that is devastating. That's the best knockout I ever seen in my life."
Right,
But for me, I feel like it was luck though.
but
I
that
feel like it
wasn't
was luck.
that wasn't. But the knockout you're talking about isn't even the best knockout on that card. Remember, he did that walk off, and then old buddy,
you gonna tell me that
what
a
was it?
fighter who loses three in a row and then comes in and finally knocks
Who was
somebody
it?
out
Was it
is the
Poirier?
knockout of the year.
Was it
You
Poirier?
talking about no, you talking about Garbrandt. Cody is it Cody?
Woo! Yeah, when he ducked down and came through.
Yeah, I mean
Holy
that was
shit!
a good one, man. That was a good one, but man, I'm talking about my man just straight chop. Hit what?
Now,
Sleep.
listen. Now, to your point, I get it. That's cool. The setup also, everything about it is good. When you look at the knockout, when he knocked out Ipa, but what was his name? We got to find his name. Otherwise, it doesn't sound right when I keep. He knocked out Ipa. What is his name?
I just, I mean,
We
personally, while you looking up
Joaquin
his name,
Buckley.
man, yeah,
Joaquin Buckley. So when Buckley knocked him out, it wasn't even like any. It wasn't even anything that Ipa did wrong. The only thing he might have done wrong was maybe hold on to it for maybe a split second too long. And I don't even think that was. When he caught the kick, he was going to throw it by and then either move forward to attack, or that's just how you block that kick. And so he caught the kick and he was going to come up and over. And while he did that, my man switched his feet and threw him. And when he hit the ground, that was kind of, what's his name, Terry Edom style. When hit him with
yeah.
that spinning back kick. Hey, that was sick.
I can see why you say that though.
But
That
I'm
was
with you.
sick
I'm
though,
with
and
you.
that
I'm
was on
with you with
social media all the time.
yeah.
But I love the setups. I love looking at the fight and saying, "Oh my goodness, he looks like he's one step faster than this opponent."
Yeah.
And just for him to already in his mind know exactly what he's going to do before he does it, and then actually do it, I feel like that's why that knockout was the knockout of the year for me. Uh, when I say lucky, 9 times out of 10, either you catch the kick and you either get the opportunity to put him on the ground and get a takedown, or you miss, or he kicks you. So it's just one of those things where him catching that kick was something that you would almost never see in a fight. And I can see why people put that as fight of the year, but personally, I like the whole setup process.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't know a submission of the year. I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.